We gonna take it back to the subway, cause we don't give up what the gloves say.
I think one of the things that's really cool about the band is because we all met each other later on in life, like in our mid-20s or early to mid-20s. So we all came from different places. So not only did we have a chance to have a whole different bunch of life experiences, but we also had different music that influenced us around the time. And I think you hear that in how the music comes out, because if someone grew up listening to a lot of like rock, like traditional rock, like Led Zeppelin and stuff like that, whereas I came up listening to all just, early hip hop, like KRS-One and Rakim and Run DMC and all that stuff. So we had all these different things that we had together, and they came and just threw it in the pot and just created this thing called Audible Mainframe. I think that's why also it appeals to a lot of different types of people, because we have a lot of different types of people in the band, and it makes a lot of, real kind of for a cool energy and a cool mix. Gumbo, I guess you could say.
It's a combination of like the organic elements, guitar, acoustic drum kit, horns, sax and trumpet, mixed with like a lot of electronic and loops.
A lot of the roots of hip hop are sampling old jazz records and funk. James Brown, you hear a lot of the meters, any given number of older jazz cats. So it's used sometimes differently, and you hear little bits of horns at a time, or you hear loops and things like that. But I think it's actually fundamental. It's really like part of the hallmark of hip hop.
The songwriting process, we have a lot of different types of ways that we write songs. Sometimes it'll be somebody brings in a beat, either if it's Lethal D or DJ Mud will just be, working on their own, like coming up with something and bring it to the band and be like, hey, I have this idea.
Something Great basically was born from the D-Boys. They came up with the track on my drum set, actually. They were in the garage messing around, they recorded the drum beat on my drum set.
And this is what we came up with.
So that's a live drummer.
That's a live drummer.
That's a live drummer chopped up.
But so what we did was just loop that, started that beat right there, just keep it going. It was like,
Some rock and roll chords. Anybody can do these.
I just heard it, and as soon as I heard it, I started nodding my head to it, and then I brought it back, and brought it back a couple times, and then probably within a couple minutes I already had the chorus to it and all that stuff. And then by the end of the night, by the end of just this couple hours, I had the whole song, lyrics and everything written.
And then the last thing that happened, of course, was Expo to add his own distinct flavor to it.
Solo that.
We gonna take it back to the subway. No. For a minute, don't forget it when you film it for the men, women, and children swimming in and out of prison, drowning in the pool of crimson like a cavalcade of victims. We deliver penicillin, but there's only criticism.
As soon as I heard it, I already could hear a version of the band doing it, and we kind of put it together one day. It helps having it on tape beforehand so that we can all listen to it and get familiar with the parts. And that's what we did, and then we took it into our garage and really brought it to life with the band and added some things that weren't there. And Dara was able to add some things with the sampling and his MPC, and we really just brought it together, and it became something great. It's definitely a step forward as far as this band and where we're going with the music.
As far as like what kind of music it is and what the sound is, it's a hip hop band. This is hip hop music that we make. A lot of times I actually get pretty offended when people try to suggest that it's something other than hip hop, because really when you think about what traditional hip hop is, it's just people sampling a band and putting it into an MPC. What we're doing is taking music that comes from an MPC and just playing it with the band. So it's the same idea, but it's just done a little bit differently. It's like pulling the sock inside out and giving another view to the world. It's hip hop as far as I'm concerned.